Much. Chairman Fonfera, Rojas, ranking members Whitkos and Davis, and esteemed members of the Finance, Revenue, and Bonding Committee. My name is State Senator Tony Hwang, representing the 28th District. I'm here to present testimony on Senate Bill 1138, the taxation of marijuana for specific uses, however noble and relevant the uses are. I think for me, I have individuals whose lives have been irreparably changed by people affected by marijuana. And what I wanted to share is their story, and if the committee can indulge, Susan Klein and her sister, Jennifer Anthony Borges, to be able to share their personal perspective. I thank the committee's indulgence on this. Susan Klein.
Hello, thank you for allowing me to speak about my husband, who I lost in October of 2015 while driving home from a concert, and a young girl, an 18-year-old girl high on marijuana, crossed over the highway into our car. That was 3.5 years ago, and I still can barely function. His loss we have twin boys. They're 23 now. They were 20 at the time. It's an unbearable loss, and to dealing with over 3.5 years before we got the justice that would hopefully help us move on. And honestly, I haven't yet. I am the face of what the human cost is for this legislation, for this bill. What you're looking at is complete grief, because this young girl was high on marijuana and drove her car that night. And it's very emotional. This is bringing it all back. And I've asked my sister Jenny to help me explain some of what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to us. It continues to be hard for my sister, her boys, my family, to move on from this. It's the kind of thing that you might read about in the paper and say, oh, that's so sad, and then we all go on with our lives. But when it happens to you, it becomes so real, and you begin to wonder, where are we as a state? The cost is too high for an amount that's less than 1% of the budget. The cost is too high. I see it every day. And I can't help but think, when there are studies going on, a company in California is attempting to develop a device which could measure impairment right at the site and give us some sort of method by which we can keep our roads safe. We have information from Colorado legal states which tell us what the cost is. I can't help but wonder why we would even consider moving forward to legalize marijuana when we don't have a way to keep our citizens safe. And that is what we expect you to do there, where you sit with the power over our lives to keep us safe. I would hope that you would be mindful of the safety of the citizens and not be captivated by a potential revenue, which people here today will talk to you is kind of pie in the sky, not what you might be being told it is. I hope that we continue to trust you with our safety, and I guess that's me. Yes?
The bell, and we'd be happy to take any questions. I want to share that the fact is, and I know the Revenue Committee has a very difficult task in a very constrained budget process, and revenue is incredibly important for us to move forward. But I think it's important for us to put a face, as Susan shared, to put a face to the cost of legalizing marijuana, which is federally prohibited, and the real cost on people's lives. Susan had to have her sister share the story, because 3 years afterwards, it's still far too raw. And I want to acknowledge their courage for many other families that come forward to share their stories, because it does matter to them, and they don't want the tragedy that's befallen them to fall on any other family into the future. So be happy to take any questions from the committee, and thank you for the indulgence of the leadership.
Thank you, Senator, and